Hey, it's Jenna Fox. Right here along with you, and I apologize for any kind of echo or any other tech issues. This is literally beta test 1. Or in this case, we're starting with basic programming 01. Or I guess in this case it would be 00 in basic code of the episode for this week in robotics. That's TWIR! Oh, I'm so glad to have you guys here this morning. But before I get into my show, I also have a great little companion here along with me today named Rob. Some of you might remember him from back in the Nintendo days. There'll be a lot of discussion coming on, but before we get into everything, I need to just cover my sponsors today before we get involved. So we're very excited. I'm very excited to be here. We're filming this for some of you that are enjoying the podcast, or in this case, the netcast, I should say. On our radio program. We're very excited. I get to work right out of my home. Hi, baby. Those that can't see, I have a beautiful little kitty here named Mora. And some of you involved in the media may just know who she is. Go get him. Alright, that little shaky noise, that was her mouthy. And she likes to play. So every so often, if I get interrupted, she may be running that back. But she's very important to me in many ways. So we're very excited. Hopefully, those that will be able to see the TV show, that will be going up later. We're hoping to try to get into and have a weekly program, a.k.a. TWIR, which is This Week in Robotics. There's a lot more going on, but before we get into all that, let me cover our sponsors today. I have a bit of a delay here in my audio, so we're still trying to work out all the bugs and whatnot in here, and we're not talking about robotic bugs. We're talking about the bugs like you got to work out a program in your robotics and your software and hardware. So bear with us as we go on this excursion of robotics together. This week in robotics is sponsored by the Jenna Fox, the recording artist, actress, activist, and you can check her out on thejennafox.com. She has many fun little items in her arsenal, including her 3 favorite colors, blue, pink, and black. Are you blue, pink, and... Sorry, 3, 2... Are you blue, pink, or black? And by Ring Central. Go on over to ringcentral.com/TWIR as your promo code, and you'll get 30 free days, or 14 free days, to find out and try this service. It's a great service. We're trying to get it set up here. We've been working with these folks for some time now, and we're very excited to have them on board. And Pond 5. That's Pond 5, POND5.com/TWIR. And if you plug in that promo code, you'll get your first 50 free stock photos. We use a lot of that over here on TWIR. It's a lot of the background and 3D elements we use for our show that maybe a lot of our audio don't hear. But if you hear any of the audio in the background, a lot of that comes from Pond 5. So we're excited to have them on our family as well. So, and by JW Enterprises, bringing you everything from their voice to independent work, including their subsidy, Cat and Fox Studios. You can come and get an indie film made, an independent short, documentary, commercial, or non-for-profit. So be sure to check them out at catandfoxstudios.com. Oh, she didn't bring the mouse back. Well, welcome. I think I just about screamed in your poor little ear. We're going to try to fix that in the post-production, we hope. So, I'm just sipping on my tea today. Jenna Fox, so glad to have you along. Again, this is sort of beta, so we're working out all the bugs. So, bear with us. We're glad to be along on this beautiful snowy day. Right, Rob? Clink, clink. Rob is, for those of you who are on the listening to us on the radio program, that clinkety clink, that was well, Rob is actually holding one of the coffee mugs here, and I was just sharing a moment with Rob. So we're very excited. I could sit here and babble about myself, but that's not who it's about. It's about you and what's going on in robotics and anything else that you might want to know. Go ahead and be sure to send us a message over at TWIR@gmail.com. Once again, that's TWIR, TV@gmail.com. Once again, that's TWIR, TWIR, TV@gmail.com. Yes, and brought to you by Square... Oh, crap. Squarespace, that's what it was. Okay. And brought to you by Squarespace. Yes, squarespace.com. Be sure to go over there and click on squarespace.com/TWIR, and you'll be able to try it out for 30 days. This is a great little setup. This is where we're setting up our website, and it's great. I love all these 3 different packages that you can get into. There's a very, very popular one here in the middle, and we're very excited to be on board with these folks as well. So definitely go over there and check them out. It's a great little setup. I mean, e-commerce, you never have to worry about the website breaking down, especially if you go the unlimited space. I love that, because I know some websites that I've talked to when I've done some of my other tech shows or whatnot and had discussions about that, and they said, oh, we've crashed. It's because everybody goes to the website and then suddenly it says internal error 505, or it says this website cannot be loaded anymore. There's a lot of reasons for that. And I think, we have to continue to break the norm as well, that we need to show that there are other individuals like myself. There's very intelligent women out there, especially trans. Not that we're going to get into any of that information, but all I'm saying is there's a misstipulation out there that there's not a lot of women in this industry, and unfortunately there actually are. It's just that there's so many usually behind the scenes, and we're not seeing a lot of them on stage, like myself, who's been working on over the many millennia. That's what it feels like. To continue to get out there, doing everything from independent films to commercial work to public service announcements, activism work, recording music. But it's not about me. This is about you and all the wonderful things that are to do with robotics. So we're just going along and we're trying to work out all the twerks. What we're going to usually be starting out is we'll get on and we'll start our show and say hello, and then we're going to move on to our sponsors, and then we'll quickly introduce whether we're interviewing a guest that day or whether we're going to get into a discussion. But just before we do all that, we're going to actually go into a quick of highlights of some of the news for robotics for the day. Now, speaking of that, this is a good segue to kind of get into this. I'm very, very excited. I don't know who of those folks that have actually heard about this, but I'm very ecstatic that there is a new, it's called a gorilla robot that's being introduced. I was reading this a while back in Popular Mechanics, and I saw a recent article on it. More recently, they're introducing this sort of gorilla type robot, in a sense, that can sort of maneuver over all kinds of different terrain, and then it can not only roll around like tank tracks, but then it can actually lift up and start walking around, and like using human legs and finding the sort of buoyancy of being able to walk left and right. So it's very exciting stuff. We've got so much to talk about. We have smaller robots, we have industrial robots, we have everything robots. So for all you robot lovers out there, we send our love, because we here at TWIR are all about robots. And trust me, if we could win the megabucks, we would be out interviewing and bringing people in all over the world if we could. So we do this because we love robots, we love you, we want to continue to keep the conversation going, because even though a lot of this stuff's been around for a while, there's not a lot of discussion around this, and we're just very excited to really get the word and just to get the discussion going. I was just throwing away my tea bag for those on the show that are following us along here. Another big news and excitement. We were recently listening to another fellow podcaster and another fellow online Twitter, and what a great... I was really impressed. What a great article this was. I was listening to this great individual named Kate, who worked over at MIT, and I was really impressed. She's over there already working on robot laws. Yes, we're talking about robot laws. Yeah, no, it's actually something that we want to continue to talk about, because actually, I've been wanting to talk with someone about that. We've been kind of working on an idea around sort of a show. If there's enough information that can keep the show going about discussing laws and robotics and things like that. So, I mean, we're very excited. There's a lot of different shows in the works, and we hope that this all comes together, and we're glad to have you guys along. And for those that are just joining us for the first time, welcome. We're glad that you're coming along and checking us out. And that's okay. Even though I've been in the broadcasting, journalists, and entertainment media industry for 20 years, this is actually a brand new show, so we're very excited about it. So welcome. We're glad that you're here. We're glad that you're along. And bear with us as we're trying to work out all the bugs. And it's just sort of a beta test as we go along. We have the audio for the radio show, a.k.a. Netcast. And a.k.a. we also have the film crew, here in the background filming our show. So give them a wave, Rob. Yeah, that Rob I'm referring to is, I'm sure, and that's also going to be another great segue to get into. There's going to be discussions about robots in everything from media, television, film, online, YouTube, independent work, all that good stuff of what we can find. We hope that actually we're trying to get up a reddit.twir.com account so that you guys can send us what your what you want us to discuss, what you want to talk about, or you can leave it in the comments or email us. Again, that's TWIR, that's TWIR at gmail.com. We're about almost 18 minutes or so into our program. We got about 12. We only have about a half-hour program right now because we're trying to build more of our sponsors. You can hear a lot of sponsors we have, but it's difficult right now financially to reach the amount we want for a longer show period. And as we build the content, I hope that you guys can come along and join us, and anytime that you'll need to refer or go back to any of the other show programs, hopefully they'll be available repeating. We're actually working to get broadcasting through every media outlet that's online that you can just about imagine, or at least the most common ones. We've got iTunes, there's a Shoutcast, there's a Netcast out there, there's, for live television, we're going to be over on justin.tv/TWIR, so keep an eye out for that. That'll also go up on our Twitter accounts, and we're going to let people know when we're broadcasting. We're only able to send it out, I think, about approximately 30 minutes prior to the show kicking off, as well as updates on letting people know where that is. We'll put all these in the show notes at the end of the program, and we hope you guys come along and enjoy, for those robot enthusiasts and all those that just love robots, even if you don't like to tinker in it and you just have a passion for robots like myself, or maybe don't have an engineering degree or a bioengineering degree or something that allows you to, or you just have a passion for it, or maybe you're a collector, or, just a favorite of all media type robots. It's all robots all the time over here on TWIR. This week in robotics, so we're going to do a couple of headlines coming up next in 3, 2, and now the news. Don't touch that dial. No, it's the headlines. This week in robot news. It's This Week in Robot Media. We're looking back at some of those classics. We might as well start with our co-host, our very quiet co-host over here. Unfortunately, we're not able to integrate any kind of AI yet. That would be one of my passions and loves, to be able to work with a development kit, and I'd love to see him in action, being able to move around, and even just the basics of recognition, and that would be really cool if we were able to actually give Rob some movement and animation, which would be so cool. I've had a passion for it. When I grew up at such a young age, I always used to get some items in my room, and I would just take them apart and figure out how they worked. And I've always had a passion for it. One of my dreams, I always wanted to go to MIT, actually. And I wanted to study really, really hard and understand engineering and bioengineering and robotics. And it was always a passion of mine, including computers. And unfortunately, my life didn't quite go that way. So this has always been kind of on the back burner. I always wished, I was like, if I could have money, I would love to get one of those developmental R2-D2 kits. Unfortunately, just to buy one of those is as much as what I need for an operation, but that, my friends, is a whole nother discussion. So yeah, Rob, we are looking back at early to mid 80s for Rob. He was one of the first introduced robots to market that came with a video game system. Do you remember the NES, short for Nintendo Entertainment System? It came with a game, Gyromite, and there were these little connectors that went on the back. We don't have those little connectors anymore. I actually got lucky. I found Rob sitting on free items sitting out in front, and I'm going to feel bad that many decades from now we'll start to find earlier editions of robots being tossed aside like a television side of the road, and that's a little disturbing to think about, which is just a saddening thought, unfortunately. And, they'll probably be the same loving people, just like that love kitties and dogs, that they'll probably try to start either a graveyard or a warehouse or some kind of home that they can house them and bring them all into. So that's something to ponder, isn't it? Think about that one. Anyway, back to Rob. We're very excited to have him here. I'm glad that he can be one of the sort of icons for our show, which we're very excited about. Some of my other loves and passion of robots have been many different styles over the decades. I mean, we can think back to Robbie the Robot from Lost in Space, a.k.a. earlier scene in Forbidden Planet. So, yeah, anyway, and many more. I mean, Johnny Five, the Terminator. There's thousands, I should say the T-800, with my terrible accent. Yeah, so we're very excited. He's here on the television. You folks that are watching can see he's holding this cute little coffee mug that I was talking about earlier. And we're very excited to have him here. And, yeah, so thank you, Rob, for entertaining us for many, many years. He actually used just a very basic sensor that went along with the screen that would help him move and navigate. He used to have these little claws that went on his little hand that would help pick up these spinners that he would take around. So, thank you, Rob. Thank you, NES, Nintendo, for all you, and hopefully we're not in copyright infringement laws of any kind of issues. So, we're very glad to have him here, and hopefully there won't be any lawsuit against us where we have to take him out of the picture, because he's a big passion of mine, and just he's a passion of all what we stand for here at TWIR. He's been a big influence, let me put it that way. 26 past the hour, we're wrapping up in 4 minutes. We thought we'd just kind of work away and plug away at our little beta. Excuse me. This is 00 in basic code. Next one will be 01. After that, what is it going to be? 000100? Something like that. A little reference there to Bender, a.k.a. Futurama, Data, Star Trek. We've got thousands to talk about. That's when we get into our This Week in Robots in Media. And we also want to leave sort of a how-to and another introduction for an online shout-out. If you go over to twitter.com, we're actually starting to follow quite a few of those, and I'm trying to bring together a whole list of these, and we'll we'll talk about one very briefly, and then we'll put it in the show notes, and just offering to let people know other great resources out there that you can go to. So, we're so glad to have you guys on this beta test. Some may think that I'm crazy. Some maybe think that I'm insane. Some may think that I am ahead of my time. So they said. Bum, bum, bum. Wrapping this show up, 28 past the hour, 2 minutes to go. Also remember to send us Q&A, things that we can try to answer to the best of our ability. And we will do our best to get back to you. We truly appreciate it. Again, that's TWIR, TWIR TV at gmail.com. And those that are watching over on TV, they'll see that I was doing sign language to that. Yeah, unfortunately, things are running a little slow here. So the internet shows right now we have to upload because they're not letting us broadcast correctly. So we're trying to work out all of our issues, our bugs, our internet, all those things like that. If you go check out www.therobotreport.com/index.php/archive. Or just simply go to therobotreport.com. So that is one reference that we use over here, that we check into for updates. And as you can see, there's a lot of archives thrown in here back in 2008, 9, 10, 11, and 12, and 13. So we're going to wrap up our show. Next time we want to discuss a little bit more on Romo on the move, or in this case, Romotive. They're the makers of the Romo robot. Anyone heard of the Romo? We'll talk about that next time on the show. Thanks for listening and tuning in to TWIR. Beep, beep. Wait, is that an insult to robots? My apologies. And our love.
Meow, meow, meow. Beep, beep, beep. Kitten Box Studios. That's right. Meow, meow, meow.
Our special thanks to the Jenna Fox over at thejennafox.com. Send her a like, subscribe, follow. Please show some love. Let's keep this hate mail to a minimum. And by ringcentral.com. And by Squarespace. Squarespace.com. And by Gazelle. And Romotive. a production of JW Enterprises in a subsidy with Cat and Fox Studios. See you next time on TWIR.
Da, 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 da.
Let's save this file. Let's go under audio. Under let. I wonder the book of here it is, music. Save this week in Robots beta test audio video beta test. Whoops, beta test 1. Show. Bum 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 bum. Like yeah, like the show keeps coming. Oh, I gotta fill you back up, Mr. Rob. And mine is almost gone. Wonderful. If you're curious, I'm drinking a combination of green tea, black tea, and I put a little light silk soy vanilla in it. Yes. Well, I blast nice clear filtered water for a minute and a half. And I then let the tea bag soak, and I agitate them up and down for a few minutes, and then once it gets thick enough, I usually add I'll usually fill it up to about there for those that can see us, and then I'll leave room so that I can put just a little bit of soy in there. Soy milk. So that is how I have my tea. So if you ever come in and do an intern, you'll know how to make my tea. Speaking of that, I wanted to cover that real quick. We also are going to have a live studio audience. I'll cover that next time on the next show. Yeah. We unplugged it, so the computer's just telling me, you unplugged. I was unplugging my headphones here. Yes, it is saved and frozen. Yes. Excuse me, I have to process that. Post-production. So yeah, excuse me. So I wanted to share with you guys, we are going to have a studio audience available. There are chairs coming in soon. So I'll make sure to cover that on the next episode as well. Is that maybe I'll add that. Oh, and just wanted to share with you all, too, don't forget, we're going to start a studio audience coming in as well. So, by all means, feel free to send us an email if you're interested in getting tickets to come to our studio and come. We encourage it. We encourage you to come into our live studio audience and be part of it. We will be getting chairs soon to add to it, so we're very excited. Like I said, this is the beta. We're just trying to kind of work things out, work things through. So thank you guys again for being part of TWIR. Thanks, guys. We'll see you soon. Ciao.